I got the focus wheel now. Oh, this makes it a lot easier. Much, much better. Look at that on the screen. Out of focus. In focus. Much better. Face is all clear. Alright, let's get started. So yeah, it's January 17th, 2021, Sunday. Sitting over here in the truck stop in the middle of fucking Missouri, and I'm very, very sad because I missed the local car meet in Columbia. And I could have been filming it, and now I'm just sitting out here in the middle. But anyways, let's go ahead and get to the topic at hand today. The 400Z, or the, Nissan Z Proto. Still no prices on it, still don't know how much it's going to be, don't even know what other colors it's going to come in for that matter. And it's like, man, they're being secretive about that car. Been looking at people talking about it and giving their input and their thoughts and reviews, but I thought that, I would put mine in because I would do a review from more of a I wouldn't want to say enthusiast standpoint, but more of like somebody who's actually going to modify the car. Because, when it comes to factory cars, I don't really care the way that they look. I more care about the body shape and the potential that the car has. And, already this one knocks it out of the park for me. 6-speed manual, twin-turbo V6, rear-wheel drive, CD009 transmission or whatever that one is from the 370Z that has auto rev matching. I mean, this is a winning formula for success. It's basically the 300ZX all over again. It's like my car, except twin turbo all over again. Different body style. So I figured I'd go over what I kind of like about it, things that, seem really, really cool that people haven't really talked about, and, so go on to see what your input is on the car. You comment down below, tell me what your thoughts are, whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But let's go ahead and get started with the exterior. Now let's go ahead and knock the elephant out of the room. The front bumper is fine. It doesn't matter if it's a rectangle. They've all been rectangles. Nobody gives a shit. Let's get going. Anywho, it looks fine. Honestly, I like that it pays heritage to the Datsun 240Z. It didn't really need to, but it's fine. Probably change it anyways. The headlights seem like they'd be a good place to do some modifications and maybe stretch out the glass so that it actually fits the corner of the bumper like the original did. The side skirt for me is a bit weird though. I don't really like the kind of pinched look on the side, but granted, it is, the factory car, so I'm like, that'll be changed. The rear bumper, honestly, is pretty fine. The carbon diffuser looks good, but I know there's probably going to be some better ones out there. I just wish they would have put it in a different color, but I understand why they did that yellow, but also in a sense I kind of wonder why they chose that yellow and didn't choose to go with a nicer yellow, like, similar to the S2000, Supra, Evo kind of yellow, that bright sunburst, Corvette-esque kind of yellow. I don't know why they chose the pale yellow from the Z32. I mean, it's not even really that good of a yellow. It's kind of ugly, honestly, in my opinion. I mean, of all the colors to choose from it, I'm like, you're going to choose a Z32 color. You probably should have chose that azure blue pearl, that light blue color, or midnight purple 3. I mean, when was the last time we got a purple car? What, 25 years ago? The exterior seems to be pretty fine. Definitely it looks like this is going to be one of those cars that's slightly a bit difficult to modify just because it's already somewhat wide. So putting a wide body kit on it isn't really going to make the appearance look that much better. It seems like really the majority of transformations of this car are going to be done by changing that front end well, not even just the front end, but the front bumper and the hood to go with it, because you notice how the hood has those creases that lead into the bumper. So if you change the bumper, you're going to probably have to change the hood to match, because having sharp creases and a smooth bumper aren't really going to go well together. So I'm very interested to see what's going to be coming out of that. So I'm also looking forward to see if there's going to be any sort of dovetail spoiler for it like the original. Seen quite a few pictures on Instagram of different ideas for it. They all look pretty good. Just wondering what Nissan is probably going to do. If they're going to keep it like that, is there going to be like some sort of extra add-on when you go to order at the dealership, whatnot? We'll see. Anyways, move on to the interior. Now, the interior for me is going to definitely be where the magic is at. I mean, I love the fact that they finally decided to essentially cut the dashboard into two separate pieces, a top and a bottom, for like a nice two-tone interior instead of it all being one big piece of plastic. Like, you know, you could wrap the top half in black leather and then put the bottom half in maybe like a red or a brown leather or whatnot, and then have your stitching to match and all that. Even though a lot of people were saying how they don't like how the interior is kind of the same as the 370, I mean, it looks fine to me. I mean, I didn't think the 370 interior was bad in a sense. I mean, it was good for the time, and this also looks good for its time now. The digital dashboard and the digital radio are definitely going to be interesting because, you know, as, you know, you have to think about it like, you know, if it's a digital dash, then it means in the ECU there's probably a template of that dashboard, meaning you could potentially change up the entire way of how the dashboard looks as long as you have a similar template. Like, I'm pretty sure it's some sort of JPEG or PNG file, so you could potentially make your own gauge cluster, or at least paint it a different color. I mean, that in itself seems pretty cool. I mean, they even be able to change up the animations and the startup and the startup the startup screen and whatnot. That seems like a game changer to me, at least. The one weird thing about the interior, though, that no one has really talked about is the fact that the damn, like, charger port for the USB is right in front of the shifter in this, like, little small cubby space where you would put your phone at. So it just seems to me a kind of a weird place, you know, like, why wouldn't you just put that in the glove compartment? Or, you know, if you were going to do it in that space, why is it not somewhat, I don't know, above the HVAC, the climate control? It just seems kind of weird. Kind of a weird choice. It doesn't really fit. I mean, imagine you have your phone charged and then the wires are sticking out from there, and then it goes back into your phone that's also supposed to be held in there. So it's probably going to be like bundled up around the shifter, and that just seems like that's just going to be a mess. But other than that, that's like my only little niggle with the interior. Everything else seems fine. I mean, for me, I'm like, I'm not getting all the fancy stuff. If I'm getting that car, I'm getting like the base model, and I'm changing the seats to either Brom or Recaro or Status, you know, whichever of the three. Changing the shift knob, changing the gauge cluster, wrapping everything in leather. That seems like that's going to be the main highlight of what people do to these cars, besides changing that front bumper, because we all know everyone's changing that front bumper. There's no way around it. But it's interesting enough to see that they've kind of, over the years with the 350, 370, and now with this car, it seems that they're finally kind of set on a style. You know, they got a lot of circles. Okay, now we get to talk about the engine. Man, VR30 DDTT. This stuff right here is the stuff of dreams, man. Twin turbo V6 engine in a Nissan, finally again. It's been a long ass while since we had a turbocharged car. It's always been naturally aspirated for like the last, I don't know, what, close to 20 years? No, actually more than that. 1996 is when the Z32 ended, so to now, that's 24 years, well, 25 years now. It's 2021, yeah. Jeez, it's quite a long while. But yeah, I mean, twin turbos, variable valve timing chains instead of a belt. I know you Z32 people are looking forward to that. Oh man, no more having to do that $120,000, well, really, in all reality, it's more like 60,000, 60,000 mile timing belt chain. Ooh, no more of that shit. But, even though this engine does seem pretty good, you know, we got plenty of companies got this thing 700, 800, 900, 1,000 horsepower. It's kind of ugly, though. I mean, like, looking at this engine from the front, it's kind of a rat's nest since it has that air to water intercooler that sits on the top of the engine instead of having a traditional front mount or the side mounts like the Z32. So, I mean, I don't know. I think I would. I mean, if I were to have that car, I mean, I would at least try to clean it up a bit. I mean, the plastic in the engine bay is not really my type of. I'm not really a fan of it. I'm just like, I like a lot of metal, like a lot of sanding, painting, getting stuff looking good, polished aluminum. Oh, that's the stuff right there for me. But I don't know. This car, this engine. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's gonna really take much. Just someone needs to come out with a better looking plenum. I mean, probably EPR, AMS, or what's that one company that does the one for the 350 and the 370? I forgot which company. You all know the one. I'll put a picture of it. You know that company. Like, maybe they'll come out with a better plenum for this thing, and traditional front mount intercooler, traditional side mount intercooler, and front and side mount. Who knows? But yeah, that's really my only gripes with the engine. I mean, it's just kind of it's a bit of a rat's nest, tubes and wires everywhere on this thing. I'm like, geez, man, we gotta do an engine tuck on you or something, or some kind of cleanup to get that done right. But yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts on the engine. I mean, it looks good. It's a proven platform. The Q50, Q60 guys have done their fair share of, help building this engine to be more capable than what it was originally assumed to be. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. A little mini GTR. Lastly but not least, we're getting to your wheels, tires, suspension, fitmentindustries.com. Oh Lord. But yeah, I mean, the fact that it's based off of the 370Z platform means that probably all of the 370Z components, all the coilovers, all the lower and upper control arms, all of your, simply everything. I mean, it probably all just bolts right onto it. And we know this car is going to come with a limited slip differential, so right out the gate, it's ready to slide, it's ready to drive. Fun little car. The one speaking of little, the one thing off topic about it, the one thing I've noticed about this is it definitely seems a lot shorter than what these pictures are making it out to be. I mean, when I first saw these pictures, I thought it was going to be this big, tall, fat, kind of frog-looking car, but after seeing quite a few videos, especially that one with Chris Forsberg, and then he has his 240Z that he wide body, but the picture of the newer Z and then that one next to it, and they're almost the same height. I'm just like, this car might actually be a lot shorter than it is. I mean, I even thought that too when I saw this Kelly Blue Book review of the car, and I was just like, I know that lady's not that tall, but she basically kind of towers over the roof line of this thing. I'm like, so this car may actually be a lot shorter than we think it is, because I'm like, 370Z is, it's a little bit tall, but it's not too tall, but it's a little bit tall, but this one's supposedly shorter than that, so yeah. But anyways, I digress. Back to the suspension components. I mean, this should definitely be a, I wonder if this, because of the way that the rear is now, is this a staggered setup car again, or is this a square setup car from the factory? Because I'm like, it doesn't look like it has too wide of tires in the back like the 370 did with those wide, bolt over fenders that they have, the round ones. Because this one's kind of a lot more squared off. It's got more shoulders now than it does hips. It's almost like the Mustangs and Camaros and Challengers. And it's got like a sharp shoulder line. So, but yeah. Anywho, back to wheels, tires, suspension. Definitely seems like 18s, 19s are going to be the size of choice. It also looks like the GTR components are going to fit on here, because that one that they've been showing off looks like it has the two-piece rotors from it looks like it has the two-piece rotors and the larger 6-piston calipers from the GTR. So I wonder if that's going to be a factory option across all of the trim choices, or is that just going to be reserved for like a special, like maybe like a suspension package or a sports package or something? Not too sure. it's very interesting because I mean, if that's the case, then I wonder, is the regular car just going to get the smaller kind of Akabono styled 370Z rotors that we've been used to, or is it just going to get the bigger ones right off the gate? That'd be nice if it got the bigger ones off the gate. So, I mean, all in summary though, I mean, this car seems like it's definitely going to be like the next big platform car, that and the newer BRZ. I mean, just like last generation with the 370Z and the BRZ, now it's the 400, the Nissan Z Proto and the new BRZ. So, yeah, it seems like these two cars are going to be definitely like, you know, the main ones for the 2020s that get modified, you know, along with all the other muscle cars that may come out. Who knows about them? But definitely interesting. It's definitely going to be a fun one. If I were getting one, and I'm definitely trying to get one. I'm going for, and I'm modifying mine all hell, I'm going for about the most base model I could possibly get. You know, white paint, not doing the two-tone roof line. Give me the least amount of trims with the least amount of like accessories with the most amount of performance. And if it goes basically like the way that they structured the Q50, Q60, there should be two horsepower choices. There should be the 3-liter twin turbo engine that has 300 horsepower and the 3-liter twin turbo engine that has 400 horsepower, which it's basically just a tune that makes it 400 horsepower. So I would just go for the 300 horsepower one just to save some money. And as far as like the wheels and the brakes, I'm like, I'd be fine with the brakes, but I don't need those fancy ass rims. Like, you know, there's no point in spending all that extra money to try to get those rims if you're just going to change them to something anyways. I mean, knowing me, I'm probably going to go straight to like Cosmos Racing and get their, you know, XT206R, their XT006R, whichever, or the 05R. They're all good. NKs, Koenigs, doesn't really matter. But yeah, these are basically all the thoughts I was thinking about it when I was looking at reviews, because, you know, everyone keeps talking about the car and how it looks from the factory, but it seems like no one's talking about, like, you know, the potential of the modifications that can be done to it. It seems like everyone just wants to complain about the front bumper and how it looks and how it's not beautiful. I'm like, well, just make it beautiful. I mean, that's the whole point of these cars. They're platforms. They're not meant to look good from the factory. I mean, just because the older ones did. I mean, actually, no, I take that back. I'm like, not all of them look good. I mean, you know, you could say all you want about the 240, but I mean, it was the first one, so I'm like, I mean, that was the bar. And then, you know, 280ZX, it's okay looking. Through Z31, it's okay looking. The Z32, we all know that the J-spec one looks better than the US spec one. Don't even go there saying that the factory bumper looks good. I'm like, that ugly ass bumper with the wavy fiberglass. 350Z bumper was alright. The 370Z bumper was alright. I'm pretty sure with this bumper, you know, it's the first rendition. Give it about a couple of years, they'll probably have a better, you know, a facelift version. They'll probably have a much better bumper, and then everyone will shut up about it, and it'll be fine. You know how this community gets. I'm just like, you know, one little thing gets off, everyone gets in a fuss. Especially those older people that are hoping for a car that looks like the Z32. I'm like, you can't appeal to them at all. I'm like, if it doesn't look like that Z32, they won't have it. Ruin the whole Z community for the rest of us, because their desire to have a older shape, and Nissan not being able to do that because the EPA and engine sizes, and, you know, Z32 being a small, shorter car with a smaller engine size. They're never going to be able to make them again. I don't know. But, anywho, I am going to continue the rest of my day. I have to shower. I've been wearing this outfit for like 4 days now. So I will catch you guys in whatever the next video is. This nigga is tired. Peace out.